Winners of the NFL draft include Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen. We don't know what Jaxson Dart is going to be. Heck, we don't know what Abdul is going to be. But for Daboll and Schoen, they covered all of their bases to save their jobs in 2025 into 2026. Now, I would agree if you're sitting there going, yeah, but this is a weird situation where you've got guys coaching and managing for their jobs instead of what the best thing is to do long-term for the franchise. I completely agree and hear you there. However, Daboll and Schoen were entrusted, tasked with this job coming into this season. Fix the quarterback situation. It's been bad for a long time. They mistakenly gave Daniel Jones that extension and it blew up in their face, and they were left with nothing, an empty cupboard. And so what did Daboll and Schoen do? I think they pieced together a pretty solid plan that bridges them from the present into the future while also making the present not so awful, not such a debacle as it has been. Now, this is all about whether Jaxson Dart works or not, okay? But in terms of the plan, this makes sense. Number one, you have your starting quarterback from day one, no ifs, ands, or buts, in Russell Wilson. Is he limited at this point in his career? Of course. Was he dynamic at the end of last season with the Steelers? Decidedly no. Is he a guy that you're going to go to the playoffs with this year? Probably not. But because of the pelts on the wall, because of who he is, because the professionalism that he will bring to the position, you can put Russell Wilson in there in training camp as QB1, and nobody has to question it, right? That includes teammates, fans, media, staff, okay? So you've got him on a one-year deal. He knows he's not a long-term solution. He's there to bridge the gap. Number two, if Russ is a disaster, if Russ is old, rusty, or ends up getting injured, you're not turning to a young quarterback that's not ready. You're turning to a guy who actually got starting reps last year and at times looked okay in Jameis Winston. So now you've buffered your starting quarterback position with another veteran where the bottom's not going to drop out if he does get injured. And then you bring in your rookie quarterback to learn underneath those two guys. There's not going to be pressure to thrust him in there because now you have two veterans ahead of him. He can potentially learn slowly, develop slowly, and you don't have to get him in there until throwaway games in December or, better yet, next year in 2026. Again, this comes with the caveat that Jaxson Dart's got to be the guy. If they move back into the first round and got a bum, it doesn't really matter much. But in terms of the plan here is pretty solid. It's pretty foolproof here in terms of a plan. They also grabbed the cornerstone guy in Abdul, which you could not pass up. This is a guy, and I think there were two guys in this draft that were surefire bets to be cornerstone, perennial Pro Bowl caliber players, and that's Travis Hunter and Abdul, one of which was in your breadbasket. You got to take that, and then you still get a first-round quarterback. Now, if Jaxson Dart is not as good as Shador, is not as good as Jalen Milroe in the long term, if he's a nobody, then we can question this decision. But in terms of the plan moving forward at QB, those that might believe there is no plan are absolutely wrong. This is not haphazard. This is a way for Daboll and Schoen to steady this season while also building for next and beyond. And because of that, you got to give the Giants a winning grade on the night.